The Six-Day War, fought between Israel and its Arab neighbors in June 1967, stands as a watershed moment in the history of the Middle East. This conflict, though brief, had far-reaching consequences that continue to influence the region's political and social landscape. The war's origins can be traced back to escalating tensions and territorial disputes that had been simmering for years. This brief but intense conflict reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the region, leaving a legacy that continues to shape events to this day. The rapid and decisive nature of the war caught many by surprise, altering the course of history in a matter of days. In just 6 days of fighting, Israel achieved a stunning military victory, capturing vast swathes of territory and altering the balance of power in the Middle East. The territories captured included the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, significantly expanding Israel's borders. The war had profound implications for the Israelis and Palestinians, entrenching the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories and displacing hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. The human cost of the conflict was immense, with many families torn apart and communities uprooted. The echoes of this conflict continue to reverberate, shaping the region's political dynamics and fueling ongoing tensions. The unresolved issues from the Six-Day War remain at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, influencing peace talks and regional stability. This essay will delve into the events of the Six-Day War, exploring the factors that led to its outbreak, the key military campaigns, and its lasting impact on the Middle East. We will examine the strategic decisions made by both sides and the international reactions to the conflict. By understanding the Six-Day War, we gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of the Arab-Israeli conflict and its enduring legacy. This knowledge is crucial for anyone seeking to comprehend the ongoing struggles and the quest for peace in the Middle East. The seeds of the Six-Day War were sown in the years following the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which saw the creation of the State of Israel, a momentous event that reshaped the Middle East, and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, leading to a refugee crisis that has persisted for decades. The 1948 war left the region deeply divided, with simmering tensions and mistrust between Israel and its Arab neighbors. This division was not just political but also deeply personal, affecting the lives of millions. During the 1950s and early 1960s, border clashes and cross-border raids became increasingly common, particularly along Israel's borders with Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. These skirmishes often resulted in casualties and further deepened the animosity. The rise of pan-Arab nationalism, championed by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser, further inflamed tensions with Israel. Nasser's vision of a united Arab world posed a direct challenge to Israel's existence. Nasser's decision to nationalize the Suez Canal in 1956, a vital waterway for international shipping, led to the Suez Crisis, a brief but significant conflict involving Israel, Britain and France against Egypt. This move was seen as a bold assertion of Egyptian sovereignty. While Israel emerged from the Suez Crisis with some military gains, the crisis further fueled regional instability and heightened anxieties. The aftermath of the crisis left the Middle East on edge, setting the stage for future conflicts. By the mid-1960s, the situation in the Middle East was reaching a boiling point. The Cold War added another layer of complexity, with the United States supporting Israel and the Soviet Union backing Arab states, including Egypt and Syria. False intelligence reports from the Soviet Union claiming a massive Israeli military buildup on the Syrian border heightened tensions further. Despite Israeli assurances that no such buildup was taking place, Nasser felt compelled to act, fearing an imminent Israeli attack on Syria. In a series of escalatory moves, Egypt mobilized its troops along the border with Israel, expelled United Nations peacekeepers from the Sinai Peninsula, and closed the Straits of Tiran to Israeli shipping, effectively imposing a blockade on the Israeli port of Eilat. These actions were seen by Israel as acts of war, setting the stage for a full-blown conflict. Faced with a perceived existential threat and a deteriorating diplomatic situation, Israel decided to launch a preemptive strike against its enemies. On the morning of June 5, 1967, the Israeli Air Force launched Operation Focus, a surprise attack that crippled the Egyptian Air Force while it was still on the ground. The Israeli attack caught the Egyptians completely off guard, destroying hundreds of Egyptian aircraft and effectively securing air superiority for Israel. This decisive blow proved to be a turning point in the war, giving Israel a crucial advantage in the days that followed. Simultaneously, Israeli ground forces launched a three-pronged offensive into the Sinai Peninsula, aiming to break through Egyptian defenses and capture key strategic positions. The Israeli attack was swift and overwhelming, catching the Egyptian army unprepared and forcing a hasty retreat. Section 5, the Sinai Front, a decisive victory. The Sinai campaign was characterized by mobile warfare, with Israeli tanks and armored units outmaneuvering their Egyptian counterparts. The Israeli army, led by skilled commanders such as Ariel Sharon and Moshe Dayan, employed innovative tactics and benefited from superior training and equipment. Within 3 days, Israeli forces had advanced across the Sinai Peninsula, capturing the strategic Mitla and Gidi passes and reaching the Suez Canal. The Egyptian army, demoralized and outmatched, was forced to retreat in disarray, suffering heavy losses in men and equipment. The speed and decisiveness of the Israeli victory in the Sinai shocked the world. It demonstrated the effectiveness of the Israeli military and solidified Israel's reputation as a formidable military power in the region. Section 6, securing the skies, air superiority achieved. While the ground war raged in the Sinai, the Israeli Air Force continued to play a pivotal role in the conflict. Israeli jets struck air bases and military targets in Syria, Jordan and Iraq, neutralizing their air forces and preventing them from coming to Egypt's aid. The Israeli Air Force's success in achieving air superiority was crucial to Israel's overall victory in the war. It allowed Israeli ground forces to operate with relative impunity, knowing they had air cover and support. The air campaign also demonstrated the skill and daring of Israeli pilots, who carried out their missions with precision and courage. Section 7, the West Bank and Jerusalem, capturing history. On the third day of the war, with the Sinai campaign well underway, Israel turned its attention to the West Bank and East Jerusalem, territories then held by Jordan. This strategic shift marked a significant escalation in the conflict, as these areas held not only military but also profound historical and religious importance. The fighting in Jerusalem was particularly fierce, with Israeli paratroopers battling Jordanian forces for control of the Old City. The narrow streets and ancient buildings became the backdrop for intense urban warfare, making the battle both physically and emotionally taxing for the soldiers involved. After 2 days of intense fighting, Israeli forces captured the Old City, including the Western Wall, a site of immense religious significance to Jews. This victory was not just a military achievement, but also a moment of profound cultural and spiritual resonance. The capture of Jerusalem was a defining moment in the war, uniting Israelis across the political spectrum and evoking deep historical and religious emotions. The streets of Israel were filled with celebrations as people from all walks of life came together to mark this monumental event. In the West Bank, Israeli forces quickly overwhelmed Jordanian defenses, capturing the cities of Nablus, Hebron and Jericho. These swift victories further solidified Israel's strategic position and expanded its control over key territories. By the end of the war, Israel had captured the entire West Bank, including East Jerusalem, significantly expanding its territory and altering the demographics of the region. This dramatic shift had long-lasting implications, reshaping the political landscape and setting the stage for future conflicts and negotiations. Section 8, Aftermath and Legacy, a Reshaped Middle East. The Six-Day War had profound and far-reaching consequences for the Middle East. Israel's decisive victory dramatically altered the balance of power in the region, establishing it as the dominant military power. The war also had significant territorial implications, with Israel capturing the Sinai Peninsula, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights. These territorial gains came at a cost. The war resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and Syrians, further complicating the already intractable Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The occupation of Palestinian territories also sowed the seeds for future conflict as Palestinian resistance to Israeli rule grew. Section 9. Conclusion: the enduring significance of the Six-Day War. The Six-Day War remains a pivotal event in Middle Eastern history. It reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the region, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to shape events to this day. The war had a profound impact on Israelis and Palestinians alike, shaping their national narratives and fueling ongoing tensions. The Six-Day War also had broader international implications, highlighting the complexities of the Cold War rivalry in the Middle East and exposing the limitations of international diplomacy in resolving deeply entrenched conflicts. While the guns have fallen silent, the legacy of the Six-Day War continues to cast a long shadow over the Middle East. The issues at the heart of the conflict, including land security and national identity, remain unresolved, ensuring that the quest for a lasting peace in the region remains elusive.